Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
If you've been hurt in a road accident that wasn't your fault, you should really talk to G4 Claims first. Unlike road accident solicitors, we don't charge you for our services, which could see you better off. To keep 100% of your compensation, have a chat with Nicole and the team. You'll be glad you did. Search online for G4 Claims.
Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sellik, the Thunder podcast. It's a new season, it's a new episode, it's a new look. For one episode, we're up the stairs in the G4 Claims studio, so shout out to G4 Claims as always. It's nice to be back for another season, reporting on Celtic, hopefully as often as we can. And to kick off the season, I have two of the best guests imaginable. And we're a guest down, but we'll get to that. I'll start with the man to my right, Mr. Kieran Auld. Kieran, it's been a long summer, but we're back. How are you doing?
It feels weird to be back.
It is. I forgot how to do this.
I forgot how fucking warm it is under two big lights like this. I'm sweating my cunt in.
Wait till winter.
Wait till the end of this episode, man.
How's summer been? Enjoyed yourself?
It's been alright. I mean, obviously the elephant in the room about Santa Ponza.
Oh,
Ryanair are dirty bastards, but
I was wondering how long it would take for one of us to bring it up. Just to clarify,
I think that was
all three of us have been done by Ryanair, not just myself. I know we spoke about it in on the channel a couple of weeks ago. It was all three of us, so we are in mourning. Take it easy in the comments. Kieran, you were understandably one of the most frustrated, down to being head booker, down to being a man who was desperate to get in the Green Hills. But you went to Dublin. How was Dublin?
I know, brilliant, but very expensive. As I was expecting going into Dublin, to be fair, I wasn't going to like clueless, but I didn't know quite how expensive that was. A fucking piss take. But
so that's a shout out to all the Irish viewers. Sort the economy out, please. Thank you. To my left hand side, we've got the great Calum Craig, who was also robbed of a great holiday to the sandy shores of Mallorca. It's nice to have you, Calum. How are you doing?
I mean, outside the holiday wise, yeah, not too bad. Just kind of about waiting on Celtic to finally come back.
It's you've got New York, so it's been a quiet summer. Otherwise, you've not been in any other trips, have you?
No, pretty much a summer like Celtic, very quiet, but hopefully should be picking up towards the end of it.
Now, Calum's got a dodgy wire, so I'm gonna just reach out. Don't worry, I'm not assaulting you. It's like, try and talk.
Is that any better?
It sounds better. You were cutting it like mad, and it was frustrating me. If I never done anything about it, it would have been gub for the whole show. So Calum, we're going to talk about Celtic. You are back in the Adidas bandwagon, but you've not got the Adidas rep on just now. One question, because you're my fellow kit man, what's your thoughts on the new kits? I'm wearing the away top. Kieran didn't wear his new home top, but what's your thoughts on the kits very quickly?
Very big fan, as I said, just as obviously we get in the car. Very much like the away one, more so seeing it in person. As opposed to at first I thought it was a bit of a toxic yellow, but nah, it's much more easy on the eye.
It's nice, I like it. I'm trying to look at it in the camera and see how bright it actually is, but anyway, we've got a lot to cover. We've only got an hour and 14 minutes worth of camera footage today, so we've got to run through a hell of a show to preview our season, to kind of recap on the summer. You know what it's like. We've got the Q&A, we've got quizzes, we've got the whole shebang. We're back in business, but one person that's not back in business is Ryan McGinlay, who is no longer with us. You just
that's about to go black and white when I'm morning.
So Ryan is over. So let's address the elephant in the room very quickly, because I have been asked time and time again, who's replacing McGinlay? Have you got the replacement for McGinlay? We're as close as to replacing McGinlay as Celtic are to getting Adam Ida through the door. Nowhere bloody near it. So we don't have a replacement lined up yet. I'm sitting in his seat, which feels strange. I don't like being in the middle, but here I am. we're going to try and get it sorted as quickly as possible. Keep an eye out on the Sellik the Thunder Twitter. We might talk about it there. Who knows? One of you watching could be sitting with us very soon.
Unlucky bastard.
We're going to put an X Factor style edition page out. Calum is already. What judge did you pick again? Who are you going to be?
I can't be Sharon.
He's Sharon. You're Louis. You've got the look of Louis.
That's the most offensive thing I've done on the podcast, but
Just a blonde hair, isn't it?
is he got blonde hair?
Grey in his older age, wasn't he? But was he no blonde in his younger?
I mean,
don't know.
I'm
I'm
just
just
but
assuming.
when he was younger.
Well, who do you want to be then?
Senator.
Much closer resemblance. So we'll get that sorted. So you don't need to ask away just now. Probably aiming to have somebody on after the first derby of the season, so we'll find out closer to that time. Anyway, housekeeping aside, it's nice to have you back. Join us for the 2024-25 campaign. Where do we begin? A summer to recap. Transfers, pre-season, the whole shebang. We'll start with transfers. Celtic have made 2 signings as of now. We are expecting the third to be announced very, very soon in Paulo Bernardo. I'll let you kick us off, Kieran, because you did allude to elephants in the room earlier on. The elephant in the room right now, Celtic-wise, is the fact that we haven't made one outfield signing come the 31st of July. What is your thoughts? Are you panicking? Are you calm? Let me hear it.
Well, I feel like a lot of people are. It's kind of, as the days wear on, I think more and more people are starting to hit the panic button a wee bit. We do still have a decent bit of time left to do our business, but yet again, we're sat here wondering why have we let ourselves get to this point, because we said it in the last episode last season, we're like, hopefully Celtic will go out and spend the money. We weren't too sure if they were going to do it. But now we're sat here, we can give the praise for the goalkeeper position, because that deserves a bit of praise, because it seems a bit of forward planning, something we've called on for years to happen at Celtic, and it seems that there's a plan in place for that position, but they seem to have just completely forgotten about the other 10 positions on the park. And there's some glaringly obvious issues there, because we're now going into a season where we should have been really building to pull away for the other teams in the league. But now we're in a position where we're going into the first league game of the season weaker than we were last year. Obviously, you've got Bernardo coming in, but that really should have been a given.
Yeah.
Ida is dragging on like nobody's business, and it's starting to annoy a lot of people, and it seems like something that you can't really help, but you've got to help. But you can't help but think that it's penny pinching in that again, and it just seems like history's repeating itself time and time again, and we try and talk about progression as a club and moving forward and being better each season, but we like to fucking make it difficult for ourselves, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, Adam Ida, let's talk about him, Calum. Last night, a story broke following Norwich's pre-season game in Austria, where it was revealed that he hadn't travelled with the rest of the Norwich squad. He's been disciplined internally for that. Callum McGregor's came out and said that he's still in the WhatsApp chat making all the right noise to return to Celtic. This feels like something that should have been relatively straightforward for Celtic to accomplish, signing Adam Ida. And I know that there's obviously another team involved where you have to meet their evaluations of the player. What is your thinking been all summer? People have heard me yapping on it week after week. I don't really need to add more of my thoughts to it. But where do you stand with Adam Ida right now? Is it something that you think it's time to move on from, or should Celtic just get the checkbook out and get it over and done with?
Realistically, I think, as Kieran touched on, we should have been in this position where we were building to pull away from other teams in the league. We shouldn't be penny pinching at the fact of it. Most of the fact, though, with the Champions League money then due to come in, we've continued to build and build and build ourselves financially, season after season. So it's just at the point, it is the same old Celtic with the penny pinching, but it's just infuriating more so. When you look at the way he'd have finished up with the season, you'd think you'd have thought he'll be the first player signed. You
could say he won us the cup single-handedly. He also was a very influential factor to us winning the league. Do you think if we were to end this window without Adam Ida, it would be a big mistake, or do you think that now is maybe the time to explore these other options? Should we just put all the energy we have into that deal out there and get it done?
I do want to say yes to it, but at the same sense, you don't want to have it dragging on all the way up until, not so much transfer deadline day, but you leave it running that long to the point where he turns around and goes, oh, do you know what, nah, I'm staying at Norwich for another year at least, or he does go elsewhere, and then we're like, right, where do we go from here? We've put all our eggs in one basket at that point. So I would like to think that we have potentially looked at other options, but either would be preferable.
Yeah, I mean, it's nail on the head. You'd like to think, as Calum said, that the board are not the board necessarily, the scouting department are looking at other options, so that if this Adam deal goes nowhere, Kieran, we have other players to bring in. But it's been so quiet. And I think that's been the more worry. I don't think it's necessarily... Well, I do think necessarily it's the fact that Celtic haven't brought in any outfield players, but I think it's how quiet it's been the last couple of weeks as well, because it has been Bernardo Ida, then a slight rumour with somebody else, but then back to Bernardo Ida. So what about you on Ida stuff, to build on what Calum said?
The thing I'm thinking about is the fact Rodgers said when Vata left, he was offered he was going to be the third striker, and Rodgers wants 3 strikers. So the fact he's come out and said that, surely to God we've got other irons in the fire. So you'd like to think, as we're talking about a backup, if he did any work out, there's got to be other players on that list that, right, this is the plan. But as time wears on, as I said, you're getting a bit more nervous. You're thinking, is this the Celtic of old? And as it stands right now, it is, because, well, we've not got the qualifiers, which helps the board, I think, because realistically, I think the squad's good enough to get us through the first month. And then you've got Champions League coming in September. But I don't understand. Rodgers and everybody's always spoke about bedding players in, but then you've also got on the flip side where they talk about getting quality players in isn't easy, but other teams are able to do it. So why do we continuously make it a struggle season after season? You can harp on about how hard it is to get quality players in, but if you've identified them, hopefully much in advance. So
never know in his club.
I know, but it seems like a pure amateur operation again, and you don't want to be negative after the season we came off the back of it. Even after we won the League and Cup double last year, everybody came out of that final saying, right, we need improvements to the squad, and we're going into the season without the improvements. So it's falling on the board again, and we keep talking about back Rodgers or lose him. You really need to put your money where your mouth is, especially when the board are the first to brag about the amount of money sitting in the bank. Put it to use.
I mean, I think, we're talking a lot about Adam Ida, but I think there's also a point to be made that Calum, we've not improved in that left-back department. The Hugo Bueno deal has fallen. Well, I use deal very loosely. There was never a deal in place. The Hugo Bueno stuff has fallen flat in its face. Liam Scales is still going to be starting for Celtic come Sunday. I mean, defensively, there's been a real lack of conversation. Does that concern you?
Oh, 100%. I think more so, as you said, the fact of Liam Scales to then be still in a starter position it's infuriating more than anything. So for the fact of, as said, we've had plenty of time to identify a replacement, we've had plenty of chances to go out and get one, and as you said, with the left back position, realistically, but a Greg Taylor injury away, if you have to then go and put Liam Scales into left back, yeah, another position like.
And then Lagerbelka comes in, who was not meant to be here, and then Welsh comes in, which is a non-starter for me. I don't even want to get into it. It is worrying, because that's a few years in a row now that it feels like the left back position in particular, Calum, has just been utterly neglected. Like, nobody's there.
No, I'm convinced we're 2 weeks away from Zagiri back ourselves.
He retired, didn't he? But
he'd come back for Sellik.
All the Tim's on the phone to him, getting the deal done. So, hi, Kieran, there's a few places. I can't help but escape the feeling that Celtic are really, and I don't want to say this because look, it's a circus over at Ibrox at the minute. It is, and I think even the most, I think level-headed Rangers fans will tell you it's a circus over there. But our Celtic, I don't like saying this because we deserve to be where we are, and Brendan Rodgers is a great manager, and we have got a talented squad, but are we riding our luck a little bit in the sense that they're in this predicament, and the fact that they are scrambling to get themselves together, there's players falling out with the manager, they can't even play in their home stadium? Is that maybe allowed Celtic to be complacent in this window?
I think it is probably giving them leeway, like giving the board leeway purely because they think, right, we don't need to be as on it as we maybe have to be. I mean, I don't know if that's how they're thinking, but that's the way it appears for the outside perspective, thinking, right, they've maybe taken their foot off the gas because they think we can afford to. We've been in this position before. don't sleep at the wheel is a very... It's a term that we need to get the banner every fucking
That's the
season.
full stadium display on Sunday.
But it's frustrating. But it seems like we're talking about left back as well. It's basic things as well. Like, am I right in saying Greg Taylor has only got a year left in his deal?
Yep.
That in itself, I mean, we talk about having a replacement for Greg Taylor or somebody to come in as well. Like, we're not going into the season with just Greg Taylor, and it's somebody that might not even be here come the end of the season, whether that's down to us offering a contract or else. But it's just, it's frustrating to see the same mistakes pop up again and again, because every year you go in with the hopefulness, and as time goes on, the hopefulness slowly dies day by day, and it's a bit depressing. But you've got to hope that we do get some business in before the end of the month. We've got to. The money's sitting there. It'll be an absolute travesty if we get to the end of the window and we've not made any real improvements on this squad. So you really can't be doing this season after season and expecting to grow, because it feels like the board's no matching the ambition of the support once again. And it just makes you wonder what's the point if you don't want to try and kick on as a club.
Especially when you're in the richest position that you've ever been as a football club, which is always a big part. I've missed this podcast. It's great, constantly depressing.
Summer wasn't long enough.
I know. Extend it. What I will say, we'll get on to talk about Kasper Schmeichel in a minute, because we should have some positive chatter, I suppose. But to end off the conversation about where we are right now, recruitment-wise, do you have faith in this last month, Calum? Where do you stand on that front? Do you think that Celtic will get their business done, or is it just a hold your breath and see what happens?
Quite literally hold your breath.
So your hopes not too high, no?
Nah, not a chance. No, with a Celtic board.
I suppose you can't argue it. Kieran, I mean, you spoke about the big word hope. I don't know what to hope anymore. I just genuinely don't.
Maybe it's a new season, new me, but let's just be. I'll be a dreamer. It's going to go well, hopefully.
Kieran, positive. Never heard of that one.
I'm a new man. From that.
It was a happy belated birthday to Kieran. He's aged another year throughout the summer. Well done.
Aging another year on this podcast.
So Kasper Schmeichel, we'll talk about him, and then we'll get a brief chat about pre-season. We obviously want to preview the season ahead. We want to talk about the Kilmarnock game on Sunday as well, plus our quizzes and questions. But Kasper Schmeichel, he signed, and Calum, to be quite blunt about it, has looked tremendous in pre-season.
Quite literally, yeah. I mean, I think it was a case of we were all in the at first when it was rumoured, but he's older than Joe Hart. Like, come on, have a word. But I mean, since he's come in, obviously what I've managed to see of pre-season wise, can't really fault him.
And he's replacing Joe Hart, who's a similar sort of mould, a locker room leader, experienced Premier League winner. I think that all that you spoke about, the kind of the initial cynicism surrounding his signing, I think that once we got past that, it was very clear to see that they were signing someone of real quality.
Oh, 100%. As you say, that's quite literally, it just feels like replacing Joe Hart for another copy of him. Slightly better looking, I might add, but...
that's a bold claim for Calum. What have you thought of Schmeichel, Kieran?
I mean, yeah, as you said, you actually can't fault him in the games. I mean, when you heard the name popping up, you're thinking, we're just going to be... Is this the new... We joked about it, it's a new transfer model, just got to be looking for down on the luck former Premier League greats. But, I mean... For what he's shown so far, I mean, I think initially a lot of people, like maybe myself included, seen the age and it was actually older and thinking, right, what are we doing here? But with that, you've seen how good he's been for us in pre-season. Obviously, he needs to translate that into league and then Champions League. But it's also about replacing that experience that you touched on and being that leader in the dressing room. And as I said earlier about forward planning, getting in another goalkeeper, he can be the mentor and hopefully pass on that experience, and hopefully in a couple of years' time or in a year's time, obviously you don't know if he's going to extend it or that, but we're no left in the lurch basically. Yeah, we're going to have an actual plan in place, and we're not going to be back to where we were this season. Yeah, so that's the only... I mean, you can praise that. That's what I said earlier. That's the only praise I'm going to give out to the board so far this season.
We don't praise them often. Nah. Don't worry, nothing's changed through this summer. It's not like we've been paid off. We're not going to start happy clapping.
But if someone would want to.
Michael Nicholson, I'm a big fan. I'm a bigger fan of your wallet. Yeah, so we never even touched on Viljami Sinsalo as well, I suppose, who's also came in. He's played some brief minutes in pre-season, but I guess we'll get to judge him as the season goes on. We don't know too much about him as of yet. I'm excited to see him. think he'll be decent. He'll do a job.
Just on pre-season. What the fuck?
Well, you've took my segue from under my legs.
Where did that come from?
Listen, I don't know where to begin. I wanted to wrap up the first half of the show, recapping on pre-season. Where did it come from? I genuinely don't know what I've witnessed. I'll start with you, Kieran, since you brought it up. I mean, we've seen us. So the first game was actually no. I'm going to come to Calum first. Calum, we were at Somerset Park. The facial reaction says it all. Did you ever imagine after that performance we would then go on to batter DC United, Chelsea and Manchester City?
Not a fucking chance.
It was miserable that night, wasn't it? Well, it was a good night out. But
Oh no, but a good laugh. The training sort of well after the train finally got moving. But the football that night was abysmal.
But they kicked on really, really well. And I guess, this is what I mean. You can only, pre-seasons, you can only really take it at face value. You can't overanalyse it. A game against Ayr United, your first game in months, is obviously going to be different to a game 4 or 5 weeks later. But to see the improvement that we have from what we witnessed at Somerset Park, it's really encouraging, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. I think even... Obviously, you don't really put too much on obviously the game against Ayr solely because obviously it was mainly youth players. But even at that, it's nice to actually see like the football we've played since then. Obviously, like some of the goals against even the goals against Man City are unbelievable. What the passing play. So again, if that's what we're playing towards this season, like that style, be a pleasure to watch.
Is it encouraging for you, Kieran? Because last year, we spoke an awful lot about how Celtic were boring and the games weren't pretty to watch, and it was kind of a downer going to Celtic Park sometimes. But from February onwards, we really kicked on. We started seeing a lot better football. I'll bring up the game at Rugby Park on the penultimate weekend of the season. We battered them 5-0 at Rugby Park. People were saying, wow, we're starting to see something. So they finished off there, and then they've went into pre-season against these big sides, Chelsea, Manchester City, and played that way. I mean, what just generally what you thinking?
I mean, as we said, you can't really get too carried away with pre-season, but you can pick out the positive aspects of games. I mean, the scorelines, you're playing against teams. I mean, Chelsea, that was the one that surprised me the most because obviously Man City, you could argue about the back line and that not being very up to scratch, despite having some very expensive world-class players in that lineup. But Chelsea, had a pretty strong team in it, and that game really caught me by surprise. But I think I'm happy to see a lot of players step up as well. The name that I'm going to say is Nicholas Kuhn because I was not expecting that for him in the Man City game because the overall play for the goals was unreal, but hopefully we can see more of that this season because he came in difficult circumstances last year. He came into a team that was maybe not playing the best. He himself had problems, didn't he? He came in and lost some 7 kilos and that he couldn't eat because he's wisdom tooth thing.
Something like that.
So he obviously never got off to an absolute flyer here, and when you see something like that happening, he's maybe not kicking on. You're thinking of past signings like Haksabanovic and players like this. But now you're hoping he can get a pre-season under his belt and hopefully kick on. And I hate to use the term because we're being tight ass bastards, but like a new signing.
You're getting the board the encouragement they need, man. That was the first thing I said when they scored their 2 goals. There's a winger at the window there. So that's that. But no, it's a good point, Calum. I mean, Nicholas Kuhn is somebody who I think on this podcast we all shared a bit of excitement when he signed. I remember we sat in the studio and we spoke about his signing a young, exciting German winger who was playing at a decent level. We were hoping that he'd come in, and it never quite kicked off the way that he wanted it to. We saw flashes of brilliance. Then we heard about all these problems. So this is a big, kind of few months for him now, isn't it? This is a chance for him to establish himself as the right winger at Celtic. James Forrest took his place. And listen, I say it with all due respect to Jamesy because he was brilliant. And he deserves his flowers for how he played last season. But Nicholas Kuhn should be doing better. And this pre-season will help him on with that try to kick on.
Oh, 100%. I mean, when we'd signed him, actually, I thought, brilliant, don't you watch James Forrest anymore? I thought, yeah, dancer. And then obviously, as I said, those couple of wee spells, I thought, oh, actually looks all right. And then obviously, when it then went down, we all thought, oh, fuck, that's just an hard did. But then obviously, as you touched on, we did obviously hear about all the ongoing issues. But no, I think pre-season he definitely has looked bright and hopefully does kick on for that season.
Anything else anybody wants to, just anything at all, open the floor around pre-season that you want to bring up? in relation to any of the games or anything like that?
I mean, we spoke about having to improve the squad, but it's going to be sting a good bit if Matt O'Reilly does leave this summer. But the one thing I will say is I'm happy that Rodgers came out and reiterated today that you pay for the value of the player and know the value, the perceived value of the league he's playing in, because that's something we've spoken about as well. We've been worried about the fact that we're definitely going to get lowballed for this, typical Celtic, but we're not in a position where we need to sell, and I think we should keep it that way, because Matt O'Reilly doesn't seem like he's forcing his way out or anything new. So I just don't. I hope the board don't jump in 2-footed and sell him at the first semi-reasonable offer.
That was actually something that I've not even thought of as we started recording, was the whole Matt O'Reilly situation. Cam, did you think we'd be sitting recording the first episode with him actually as a Celtic player?
Not a chance. Nah, I thought it would have been literally a case of as soon as their transfer window was open, I thought a day or two later
he'd be gone.
They'd been away. Yep.
Same. But I, the point that you touched on, it's nice to see that he has just remained professional and he's just kicking on and he's still playing, and he's not made a big song and dance about it. He's not done anything that would. And listen, people in our support are really bad for becoming the body language police and the facial expression police. Somebody doesn't want to be here, they're lazy. They've done it with Edouard, they've done it with Ncham, they've done it with Dembele, done it with all these players. But if you tried that with O'Reilly, you would fail epically, because in pre-season he's looked so sharp. He's looked brilliant, Cam.
Oh, 100%. I mean, even, again, you don't want to put it really down to even the better game against Queen's Park.
Yeah.
Same then, he looked brilliant, even like a couple of passes, even getting a goal and such in there. And then, as you've said, he's just been nothing but professional. He has just continued to just get on with his work.
Kieran, I'll ask a question before we go to the half-time quiz. If Celtic were offered a bid of £25 million tomorrow for Matt O'Reilly, would you want it rejected? Aye.
I think, I mean,
we've got this deep into summer now that I'm actually not contention even the word. Of course, I didn't want him to go in the first place, but I'm actually like, I've accepted he should be here now because we're that deep in.
I know. I mean, I'd still with the mindset he should not be leaving for anything less than a record fee. I'm not saying he's going to go for 50 million quid, but we need to start valuing our players higher. Inflation's happening all the time in football. Why should 25 million be the benchmark? Okay, that's what it takes to get the best player in Scotland.
Aye.
So it's annoying. I would still reject it, because people might be saying, "Oh, it's good money and that," but what good's money in the bank when we're not spending it?
I know.
So
well, I was going to make a statement here, and I don't know if it would go down as controversial. You can chip in. I'm not saying this is my exact opinion on things, but I'm just floating an unrealistic idea here, because of course it would not happen. But the more you think about it, in situations like this, when the club don't spend money, part of me would rather he stays for the remainder of his contract, given it his absolute all, and then we let him go for nothing, rather than letting him go for 25 million. You know? Genuinely, I think that sometimes, because I'm like, if we don't spend it, what's the fucking... We don't see any of this money. No. We don't get anything back for the club. So, like, you know...
Season tickets continue to go up in price.
Yeah.
Champions League tickets are going to go up in price. Everything's going to go up in price, but they're making their money that way. They're going to make their money after the sales of these big players, recoup their money, and then a lot fucking more. If they're not willing to put it back into the squad, what's the incentive? I get where you're coming from. Obviously, he's not going to want to play here his full career.
5 years or no.
It's not realistic, but it's just frustrating. Like, you're hoping we don't get lowballed, but you never know.
Yeah. Right, before we get into the halftime quiz, there was one thing that I meant to bring up at the top of the show, and I completely forgot. Our Lenny, who is in the headlines. We've not spoken about Lenny for a while on the show. Calum, I know you said you wanted to speak about it for the whole hour. So now's your chance. A story broke earlier from Romania, of course. Neil Lennon, now in charge of Rapid Bucharest in Romania. The tweet read, and in case you haven't seen it, in case you don't use social media, you might not have seen this. The tweet reads, "A tough time for Neil Lennon at Rapid. The manager is accused of having urinated on the training pitch during a training session this week. The club has firmly denied this information, but pressure is mounting considering displays and results haven't gone his way. Accusations regarding Lennon's behaviour are unconfirmed, but already circulating on Rapid medias massively." Calum, this is your time to shine, mate. What are you thinking?
It's just Lenny, isn't it? It's just, I love him.
It's like an only an excuse sketch.
Oh, quite literally. It's like, it is quite literally taking somebody that's spent a large part of their life in Scotland, putting them abroad, and then saying, it's just naturally turn, well, go behind there in the bushes. But then you don't expect it to make fucking social media and news.
Oh, poor Lenny, Kieran.
Poor Lenny.
Still scarred. The young mind of Kieran Auld. Right, Lenny, we'll hear if anything comes for it, but they have been denied right now, these rumours. Rapid Bucharest released a statement saying that it's nonsense, but I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure he's done it. What's the problem? I've avoided that. We've avoided that fish outside. Haven't we?
I'm not admitting that in a podcast. Police Scotland are watching.
Right, half-time quiz, which today will be hosted by Kieran Auld, written up by our friend Kieran, of course, the quizmaster, who does return for the season. Kieran, it's over to you.
So to kick off this season, we've got a Here We Go Tenable. So nice easy one to get the season going. I don't know. If I was the one answering these, I don't know if I'd be saying that.
Oh, aye.
Name the last 10 teams that Celtic defeated in a knockout tie in Europe. To clarify, this includes all competitions and even qualifiers we had to play to get into group stage football. This also means winning the tie overall and not separate wins and matches. So if Celtic lost the tie 3-1 but won one of the legs 1-0, that doesn't count.
So you had to win the actual tie.
Aye.
And it includes qualifiers.
I feel like I might as well just say to you, it's all qualifiers. I mean, you could have guessed that, because we've not won a knockout tie since 2004. So that should have been self-explanatory, but aye. So you're basically just working your way through the last 10 teams we beat in the qualifiers to whatever tournament.
Right, okay. Right, so how many lives do we use? It's 3 lives and you're out, innit?
Aye.
Right, okay. Right.
I think this is a wee bit harder as well, because you're obviously looking at a time frame where it's quite a while ago, and it's hard to remember certain teams like that.
Right. If you've got anyone, you want to go first? We'll go one at a time.
No, I'm just trying to work back my head for qualifiers. So obviously with automatic qualification.
We'll do the one at a time thing, just so we keep ourselves in the right fit.
One of you can start us off.
I'll go first. This is kind of testing how far it goes back, but I want to say Linfield. Are they on there?
No.
What? Are you there's 10 after Linfield?
No. Aye.
What? I've just threw away a life. I was like, oh, surely Linfield.
Why don't you go most recent and work your way down?
I feel like that's I know we should have. I've wasted a life, Calum. I'm sorry. Do you have one you want to give it?
Think of it. When was the last time we played qualifiers?
So I want to say a team. I think that was one.
Just, say it if you want.
Was Cluj one of them? Or was that? That's going to be on until we get fucked.
We're going to be already, aren't we?
Aye. No,
Is Cluj no one? I would have said Cluj.
I've not got it on my list.
Oh, fuck me.
Jesus Christ. So now that Ride's doing to this is it. One last go and it's on my shoulders.
Two Smythies not doing anything.
How did we have... Who was most recent? Because it's been a good few years since... Oh! AZ Alkmaar.
Yep, that's number 1.
Right, okay. That's me done. That's the one I can think of. AZ Alkmaar.
That was the one that got us into Europa League.
We played somebody else in that set of qualifiers though, didn't we?
I know, because the one before that was Michelin, because mine would get... No,
there was one in between.
I know, because I was thinking for getting beat to then get through to that.
Aye, we got beat off Michelin.
Mine's just
Europa League.
Jablonec? No.
Is it name? Is it Calum's?
Number 2.
Yes. Is that right?
Well done, Calum, well done. Right. I can remember the name of him. Well done, Calum.
And then obviously
so don't crossed off that season.
You can't say Michelin because
aye. Right.
So
we've got one life left and we've got okay. No, I think that's Ryan. So that was Ange's first season. So now we're heading into the dreaded COVID season.
And this was where I would not remember any of
these
because I wiped it from my memory.
I have wiped it from my memory as well.
If just talking about that now.
I could only remember one of these games.
Do you remember any for the COVID season?
Very fucking little.
I'm going to tell you there's 3.
There's 3 for the COVID season. And
we
ended up in the Europa League. Oh, I genuinely don't know. In my head, there's a team, and I think, is there a Swedish team?
There is, but no for that.
We played a Swedish team, and it was. Did they wear yellow? Right. Who's the Swedish team that wear yellow?
You think they're Bromby? They were yellow.
I don't think it was Bromby.
No, I don't think it's them, but that's right. You would think
I don't know if they wore yellow or no. God, we're going to be here all fucking day.
14 minutes on the camera, boy.
I know, I was going to say, we've got fuck all time to camera, mind.
Oh, there was I remember us playing a Swedish team and we got the result up in Sweden, didn't we?
Uh-huh.
Who was the team though? Can I look up who's in the Swedish Premier League?
I think big teams in fucking Sweden.
I'm thinking Brøndby, Elfsborg. They're a team. Was it Elfsborg? You're looking at me funny. I don't know if it was Elfsborg or no. I can't tell if that was an eye or not.
I'm genuinely scared. Doing a science when you're sure, doesn't it? Genuinely scared.
Just waving the white flag. Aye. Is it Elfsborg?
No.
Yeah, fuck it, there we go. Should be space to give that away, but
Who was it?
AIK Stockholm.
I was going to say AEK.
Wait,
the fucking the Barcast.
The worst part is I was going to say AEK Athens.
We beat them 2-0 at home and 4-1
Right,
away.
go for it. That is a honker. Like
Right,
that.
so number 1, AZ Alkmaar.
Right.
Jablonec, number
Right.
2. Number 3, FK Sarajevo.
Of course, that's right. Yep.
And then before that, it was Riga FC. That was a game I forgot happened. I remember the Sarajevo one.
You could have tortured that answer out of me.
And then before Riga, it was KL Reykjavik, who would be 6-0
Yes.
at home.
Yes.
Because did El Unasino score like a hat trick or something in that game?
I think he did. Solid.
Then it was Stockholm. Before that, Nomi Kalju. I remember watching that game in Santa Ponza.
That's right.
2019.
Yep.
FK Suduva was before that.
Right.
And then Rosenborg before that.
Should I say
And
that?
then
That was just
FC Alashkert. Were they the Armenian?
Is that the ones we
Aye.
played after Linfield as well?
No, wouldn't have been that. It was
No.
the season
Right,
after.
right,
Because
okay.
when you said Linfield, I'm like, no, full season between them. But
I know, because the Rosenborg one, I'm sure it was fucking Forest.
Aye.
Because that was ringing a bell.
Well, we got two.
Rosenborg was 3-1 at home and a nothing each game away from home. The-
A different one.
Yeah, you think we played them in the Linfield,
Aye,
like
right,
in
that's what I'll
that's your
think of it.
qualifiers.
Yep.
But I thought that was pretty hard. I'd have been fucked with that, like especially the COVID season
That
ones.
was-
I've wiped that
Oh,
from my memory.
Riga.
100%.
Riga. Who remembers playing bloody Riga?
It's because they were one leg games as well.
That's
Remember?
right. So they were. What a lot of nonsense. Well, I hope you've done better at home. As you can see, we've clearly not spent our summer reading up about the history of Celtic. And we'll put that to the test in the full-time quiz, which I think is significantly easier than that. Just saying, I
I
made
can't
the
believe we
quiz.
said a nice wee easy one to start.
Oh,
I know.
easy my arse. Kieran, sort it out. No, I'm joking. Thank you as always, Kieran. It is appreciated. Got a couple of things to cover before we get to the Q&A/full-time quiz. It's time to talk about the football that's coming up, lads, because it's time for Celtic to try and make it 4 in a row. They done 3 last year. They're trying to go for 4 in a row this year. Brendan Rodgers wants another league title. Let's just kick off with an easy question. How are you feeling going into the season, Calum? Domestic campaign-wise. We'll leave out the cup competitions in Europe for now. Just the league season. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm fairly confident. I feel like obviously there's much changes here or there for the challenging parts of the league, I should say, but then on Malak will say that and fucking Dundee will come up and score us 4-0. But no, fairly confident. I don't feel like much has changed for it to go another way.
Kieran?
I mean, I've spoke about the concerns I hold about the transfer dealings or lack of this summer so far, but I feel we've shown good signs in pre-season. Rodgers seems to be showing that he can get something good out of this squad, which should be a call to the board to properly back him this season. But I mean, you've seen there's players that seem to be, I mean, you can only say on form with like a bit of reservation because it is pre-season.
Yeah.
But I mean, we'll see on Sunday how we kick things off. But I mean, with what you've seen, you've got to hope a few players can kick on. That hopefully we'll be in a better position come that. But I think for the league, we showed a lot of character last year to kick on and win that title, because there was a lot of times it looked pretty bleak, and then we dug deep within ourselves and came up trumps, and hopefully we can keep that up this season. And you've got to be confident in the squad of players that we've got, that they've got the desire to do it all over again.
Yeah, it's a group of winners, which is the good thing. We have the core still with us from the last few years. McGregor, obviously, is captain. Kyogo, James Forrest, who's still around. Cameron Carter-Vickers. The core is still there of this team, which gives you a lot of faith. It's kind of nice, Callum, that we've went into. I know we've talked about all the negatives of not having a busy window, but there's not been an awful lot of outgoings that really takes away from the side. So, this is a group of players who done the business last year. They started picking up performances towards the end of the last season. In terms of just performances, we are expecting a whole lot more in this August compared to last August.
Oh, 100%. As you said, I think it's solely for the fact of we've kept the key players there for it. That was probably the main factor, most of the fact if Matt O'Reilly and even Rio Hatate as well, we never really touched on him, obviously, with ranks with Leicester. But obviously, if we keep them, as you said, McGregor, then you're keeping your Carter-Vickers, your Kyogos. Keep them there, and I feel like keeps you more than comfortable enough going forward.
Is it a tremble this year?
Let's not
One thing at a
time.
No, I was going to ask a question that's completely slipped my mind. That's why I made that joke. Kilmarnock's a tough start. They had a really good campaign last season, so it's trying to translate these performances now, Kieran, against side to fit against games where they might sit back and they defend. And I don't think that Kilmarnock last season found themselves prone to the whole low block conversation as much as you would get against, I don't know, a Motherwell or a Dundee or whatnot. But it's not Manchester City, it's not Chelsea, and it's going to be a whole lot more difficult. But it's Celtic Park, it's Flag Day. You really want to set the tone, and you want to put out one of the performances where you're talking. I mean, as I just mentioned earlier in the show, 5-0 at Rugby Park last season. Can they replicate something like that to kick off the season? I
mean, it would be the perfect way to kick-start the season if you could make a statement like that and do it. But I mean, obviously, you're just looking for a solid performance, solid 90 minutes, and a good result, because last season I felt for so long we struggled to try and pick out a game in which you thought that was a comfortable 90 minutes of the full game, because there was so many games where we played amazing in the first half, then we were on the back foot and scrambling, especially in some of the games against Rangers where the last 15 minutes or so we let ourselves go into the back foot and be forced out of not playing our game. So yeah, Kilmarnock are going to set up differently than what Man City and Chelsea have. And I said last season as well, I felt that some of the best we'd played that season had been against Rangers, because they were obviously more open and going for you. It's not going to be quite like that, I don't think, on Sunday. Kilmarnock have got a really good squad. They're in the European qualifiers right now. They do also need to play on Thursday away in Belgium, hence why the game's a fucking Sunday. But so you've got that as well, maybe a European hangover sort of thing. But I would love it for us to just go out and have a statement win on Sunday, and as you said, really set the tone for the season, because compare it to last year, a game against Kilmarnock kind of fucked it early doors for us when we were there in the League Cup, but as it let Rangers go on to win the first available trophy of the season, and I think that didn't help moving forward with their hopes of the title race back then as well, because the media were really ramping it up. But it would be lovely if we could just go out and make a statement.
Before we get into team selections and all the rest of it, because I do want to get a move on so we can fit everything in. Here's somebody we've not touched on, Calum. Kyogo, who last year evidently wasn't at his best. He had an average season by his standards that he set himself. But in pre-season, he's looked so much better. I think towards the end of last season, he looked a lot more comfortable. It would be nice for him to start off the season with some goals. Let's get that tally going straight away. Is this a season where he comes back into his best, do you think?
For me, yes. I think more so, as you touched on with the pre-season, he looked so much more comfortable in terms of that drop him in to receive the ball role. When that's when we then seen, I know we touched on Man City, it was obviously like a more youthful back line, but still see to draw a player out, and then straight away your two wingers are opened up massively. He looks a lot more comfortable in that role, albeit if we continue to play that role for him, he looks more than good enough in it now, perfect. But I think this will definitely be our kick on the big season for him.
I fucking hope so, because I missed him at his best last year. It was kind of brutal at times. Thinking, oh God,
it was a Shelley's,
I know,
his usual self, but the age he's at now is where you're hoping we're getting prime Kyogo.
Yeah, Yeah. What age is he now?
29, mate.
29, is it?
29.
I thought 28, aye. 20, 29, what about
Get
that?
on, man.
Birthday's in January.
Is
I
it?
know that,
Right.
so.
There's no like age of cup rating this season, is there?
Think
Nothing
so.
like that.
That was
Well, that was last
Yeah,
year.
it was
wasn't
on,
it?
aye.
Hitati came back and then went
Yeah.
on and got
Of
injured.
course, that's right. That's right. So let's talk about Sunday exclusively for a minute. And I've got a couple of quick fire questions for the season ahead, where it won't require much thought or thinking. What will be the first starting 11 of the season? Kasper Schmeichel will be in goals, of course. We would assume so anyway. So we'll start with the back line. Calum, I'll come to you. I'll let you do back line.
I think for me it looks just as normal as it was. Ralston, Carter Vickers, Scales and Taylor.
Yeah, I think it probably will be Ralston, won't it? Because Johnson's not played yet. I'd imagine he might get eased back into the team some way. I mean, I've been very critical of his entire Celtic career, not only recently, but through the Euros and pre-season. I thought that Ralston looked like he was lacking. So I hope Johnson's back quicker than usual, but Callum's back line should be able to do the job here.
You would like to think so. I mean, I echo your point about Ralston. I'm personally not really happy that we're in the situation again where we're going into a season and Ralston's having to start the first game. But I mean, you need to make do what you've got to now. I don't think there's much point rushing Johnson back this second because he's had a longer season last year than anybody. I mean, he made it to the semi-finals and third place player for the Copa America, which is some achievement to be fair. But I think the rest of the backline picks itself as well, which is also a wee bit unfortunate. But
True. At least Vickers is fit for the start of the season.
I know.
That's a big change. So midfield three, I'll let you do, Kieran.
I feel like we're in this.
Picks itself.
McGregor, O'Reilly, Hitati.
It's nuts that we're actually getting. If you asked me a year ago or 2 years ago if I thought they would still be here and all the rest of it, I probably wouldn't have thought so. But
I really hope this isn't like, see when you see the photos of like players in the next season's kit and they don't end up playing for the rest of the season. I'm like, please don't let it happen.
with O'Reilly.
With O'Reilly, aye.
But it's a midfield three, it does the job.
Aye.
I guess the big conversation comes around the front three. Now, we heard Nicholas Kuhn went down with a bit of a knock, hence why he didn't play against Chelsea. Of course, Brendan Rodgers' press conference will be Friday, so we'll hear. I'll ask you first, Callum, do you think, regardless, James Forrest will end up starting on Sunday?
Feel more than likely, yeah. I think more so the fact of, as we've touched on, obviously it's first game of the season, you want to go after a good start, but I don't feel like it's a game you need to chance half-injured players in.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to aggravate anything this early on, especially when there's still players to maybe come in and add to the depth. I think Forrest probably does start. Left-hand side should be Maida, you'd assume. And then you'll go up front, Kieran.
I mean, I feel like this is maybe the easiest team
First
selection day all season, to be honest, because I feel like there will be a lot more questions to be raised. I feel like for the first game of the season, especially when there's not that many new signings in, we're in a position where we've got the tried and tested options there, and we just need to hope it's enough. I mean, you're talking about we don't want to aggravate injuries, but we don't want to underestimate our opponents on Sunday as well. Give the due respect because they're in Europe for a reason. So
yeah, true. I mean, it's not as if Kilmarnock are any team to breeze by nowadays.
they caused us a lot of problems last year. I mean, obviously
Two
apart
losses.
from the 5-0 game, but I mean that was a team gunning for the league title at the end of the season. Nothing was going to stop that.
I'd love to sit and watch a game in Tenerife again this year if I guarantee not to watch the team lose, because that was Rugby Park last year for me and it was brutal. Quick fire questions about the season. I want to get your thoughts early days. We can look back and we can clip this for the TikTok, which I'm hoping to bring back. So quick fire questions. Your predicted player of the season, Kieran.
Kyogo.
Oh, you're going Kyogo. Think it's going to be a recovery for him, yes?
I'm hoping so.
Right, okay. Mine is, I might call it boring, but after we've seen how important he was last year, I think the goalkeeping department could be similar. I'm going to go Kasper Schmeichel for player of the year. Cal?
I think I'd take it even more boring, go for your man in the middle, Callum McGregor.
Callum McGregor. Wow. Somebody who last year had his peaks and troughs, had good games, had bad games. So once again, just looking for a general improvement for Callum.
Yeah, I think it is just obviously keeps yourself injury free, doesn't go through that phase of like, trying to play with wee niggles and such. Obviously, it's all well and good because that's what you see your captain doing. He's always there and available, but yeah, I think it's himself back to injury free in his best ways.
Nice, right? Okay, that was player of the season. I can't ask you signing of the season.
I think I'm going to say goal of the season.
I think it'll be Alistair Johnson against Ross County. So the other one that I wanted to ask was, there was a few in my head. Surprise of the season. Anybody who you think will present this. Doesn't necessarily need to be a surprise, but who do you think this season could be the one that fans aren't really thinking will offer a lot, and then they do offer a lot?
I'm hoping it's Palmer. I'm hoping there's a player there, because I feel like at times as a support, maybe we've thought, right, maybe he's not the player that he came in and he was good last year. Maybe it's not going to happen for him. I'm hoping he's the I don't know if it is really a surprise, but I'm hoping he's the surprise package. The way people were surprised at Kuhn that game. Hopefully he can kick on this season and prove why he's signed for Celtic.
What about you, Cam? You got a surprise?
Kuhn, hopefully.
Kuhn.
I think, as I said, obviously, if that be a glimpse in pre-season, hope he does just continue on with him. It's a good one.
They were the two I was stuck between when I was thinking up this wee segment earlier on today. But 5 minutes before I asked the question, decided that I actually did want to answer Palmer, because I think Palmer was somebody who was really unfortunate last year with I think he set the expectations of himself quite high with how he kicked off his Celtic career. Then he kind of struggled with a bit of fitness issues, and he was just bombed out the side. So I'm expecting him to have a decent season. So I'm going to say him. Other quick fire question: will we sign Adam Ida?
I'm going to say yes.
Saying yes.
Yep.
He's saying yes. I got 3 yeses. I have a feeling we will sign him. And finally, last question. I don't have, because it is completely gone. I wrote these down and I didn't save them because it was on my PC and I forgot what the last one is. Anybody got any quick fire questions want to ask about the season?
That comes to mind.
I need time to prepare things like this.
just in case you had anything. It doesn't matter because we've got your questions. So that is our Kilmarnock / season preview. I've not asked. Score predictions. Score predictions. Calum, kick us off.
3-0.
3-0. Oh, clean sheet. Kieran.
I'll go 3-1.
3-1. I am going to go for a solid 2-0 Celtic win. I think we will keep a clean sheet. I agree with you, Calum. I think Kilmarnock are a wee bit resolute. They've added McCrory as their new keeper. I think it's a good addition. So yeah, I'll go 2. I'll go 2-0. So yeah, we're about 52 minutes into the recording, which means we technically have 20 left before the camera dies. So we're going to try and batter through your questions as quickly as we possibly can, because there's 30.
I feel like we've never done an episode of this where we've got just plenty of time to do the questions. It's always, sorry if we never got you, but last 3 of them.
They know how it works by now. Listen.
McGinlay's not here anyway, so.
No. McGinley's I wonder if do you think McGinley will listen to us now that he's gone?
Will he? Fuck.
That was a quick answer. I wouldn't fucking blame him, to be honest. That was a quick I was getting clipped for the Twitter. So McGinley's not here to yab it on, actually, so good point. Right, we'll start with Cal, who's here every week, every season. He says full stadium tifo predictions for Sunday. Any ideas?
Neil Lennon. I don't know how quick they can do the turnaround for.
Just him pushing in a big bush. Is it a Kishinya in the bush? Pushing in the bush. Calum, you got any thoughts what it could be?
I want it to be Kieran's one earlier. A big fuck off. Don't sleep at the wheel.
Big sleep at the don't sleep at the wheel. Don't put sleep at the wheel. Christ above that. I think it might be a message to Matt O'Reilly, just begging him to stay. Just a big love letter. And then somebody, like, instead of the chants, they'll get like a massive boombox and play. See that Casey and the Sunshine Band song, Please Don't Go. I'm going to play that.
Everybody's going,
Babe, I love you so. Mark says folk should hold off on Champions League packages this season or don't buy them at all. The board need to be sending a message. Last season's chance lasted 1 match, and it was as you were afterwards. It is a point. I mean, you know, if people do, this is a big hypothetical, isn't it? It depends how the window ends. But year after year, there is things to be frustrated about, and it feels like as Celtic fans, there is very limited things you could do. I would never blame a supporter for not wanting to take out their match package. It's completely your own prerogative. But is that the most effective way to display a message?
I mean, I understand the sentiment behind it, but for every person that would do that, there's 10 people
that's going to buy your package.
Aye.
It's just not. The sentiment of it is bang on.
I think
it's just not effective.
Because you don't want to say, wait and see how it goes when the transfer window ends. We could be in a really poor situation. It takes a couple of injuries and a lack of activity, and we could be in a very different position. But I'm going to try and have a wee bit of faith in that might be changed in a couple of weeks' time, but we'll revisit it.
Question actually I've not asked. Everybody's renewed. I know you renewed your season. You've got your season booked this year. Nice. Which Celtic player is most likely to start up a cryptocurrency?
I was actually trying to ever think about this. I seen that come in. Is Joe Hart go down the John Terry route?
Selling NFTs. I'm going to say Lewis Palmer. I could see Lewis Palmer doing it. He's got the enthusiastic salesmanship.
He's got the Hondurans in the palm of his hand.
Roseanne says, refusing to ask a sensible question. Oh, best movie snacks. Back to your food questions. This is what we're really here for. Best movie snacks. Callum, you know what the pictures recently?
I can't go fairly off. I don't really take snacks. I'm also a drinks man.
Do you not have a favourite snack then? No.
Not really, no.
See, to be fair, I'm the same. I don't really...
I think it's because it annoys me seeing folk round me. I can just hear them chewing after quite a bit of film. You want to turn round, fucking scale them.
Roseanne, though, does ask, do you prefer sweet or salted popcorn or mixed?
I'm a salty man.
Oh, you're a salty man.
Mm-hmm. I think salty, especially when you've got the juice outside it, balances it, sell it.
I don't like popcorn, so sorry.
Salty popcorn's the business.
Have you got is that your favourite movie snack?
I mean, I feel like it's different every time because it's very seldom I go to the pictures, but I used to like milk teasers, or Milan pinballs.
Just like your story. As they were just buckled into that. We'll explain that in the next podcast.
I'm sure I've told it on this.
I think you have, actually. You have.
A couple of years ago.
Aye. Do you think the points total needed to win the league this year will be lower with the fixture congestion of more European games, says Aidan? I think that's one of those ones time will tell. I think it's too hard to predict.
It's new for every team playing these extra games in that time period.
A very personal question from Dougie. He's a caring man, Dougie. How have you been over the break?
I can't keep myself, powering on, and just glad it's back now.
Kieran?
I mean, it's been a relatively busy summer. I went on holiday with my girlfriend, graduated for uni, had a holiday cancelled, went to Dublin. I know, I'm a qualified journalist now, so nobody can say anything to me in the comments. I've got my certificate.
Two of us, journalists, God help me. That's nice. We've had nice enough breaks. I feel like all of us have came back with the batteries charged. Anthony Devine asking which current first team player is most likely to do punditry when they retire.
I said this last season. I can see Greg Taylor doing it. I can imagine him stood there in like the long coat and the turtleneck on BBC Scotland on a Friday night championship game or something.
Kelly been rotten. Have you got a shout, Cal?
I think Taylor's a good shout, and it's like Jonathan Sutherland, but with hair.
Alistair Johnson will be doing like ESPN Canada, for sure. He'll have the big headset on with him.
There's a great ball down the right hand side. I done that back in the day. Food question, love it. Nathan Green asking steak, roast, chicken, pasta, pizza, fish, dinner. Keep free, drop free. Also, what was McGinley's worst food opinion?
Everyone.
There was too many. It was the worst one for me was when we were asking about the Scottish foods, and he's like,
the last one, that was bad.
What's a fry up? Oh, God.
I don't know what that boy does for sustenance.
McGinley, get back on the Derby preview. So
everybody get a food question. Everything you could possibly like to ask for his guest appearance.
So steak, roast dinners, chicken, pasta, pizza and fish dinner. Keep free, drop free. I'll go first because I know mine. I would be keeping chicken because I couldn't imagine a world without chicken. I would be keeping pasta and pizza, and I would drop. I do love fish. I adore fish, but I couldn't imagine a life without pasta and pizza. So I'm keeping chicken, pasta, pizza.
I will probably go the exact same as you because I'm going to controversially say I think steak's pretty shit.
Yeah, I'm not a steak
I don't
man.
know if I've just never had a good steak before, but I've been bitterly disappointed.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a big fucking slab of meat.
Aye. Cal?
I think to use it nail on the head there. It's perfect free.
I thought you'd have kept a fish dinner for some reason. I don't know.
I like a fish.
I see a fish. Fish out of chippy, aye, but see my mum makes fish, I fucking hate it. Nothing against Trish, but our cooking's fucking... Our cooking's under some serious scrutiny.
Trish watching the podcast. I do love fish, but yeah, it's hit and miss, so... right, forget the replacement in the Celtic team, whereas the McGinlay replacement says Regan. We addressed it at the start, don't worry, we will find something.
Keep your eye on the Twitter.
Keep your eye on the Twitter. How many Alistair saying how many signings do you think we'll get in? We'll touch on that in the next episode. We'll make a big deal out of transfers in the next episode because hopefully we'll have more of an insight as to where we're going with that. So thank you, Alistair. Thank you to everybody asking transfer related questions. Thank you to Bernardo Boy asking about the summer, but we have answered that. So Celtic World Order saying we make a meal of targeting and signing players. Yes, we need quality, but that is tough to achieve as we make it. Are we either looking in the wrong markets with unrealistic expectations, or is quality just a cover-all buzzword to fall back on to excuse poor signing policies? That's actually a very well worded question.
I feel like I stole half my argument earlier for that guy's tweet. So thank you, Celtic World Order.
And it's a point.
Made me sound articulate.
As I said, we'll come on to we'll keep transfers for the next few weeks because we've got a whole lot to talk about with transfers. So everybody who's asked a transfer, thank you. Champions League draw from the projected pots, we'll come on to that as well soon, Aidan. No point in getting caught up in that quite yet. Can Ryan attempt one of Palma's dances, says Kevin.
Follow the TikTok.
I can't even think of any dances off the top of my head.
A wee celebration the other night against Chelsea, done one.
Aye, I just off the top of my head though, I can't picture them. I just think, oh my Macarena, you know, I like that.
Dub smash.
No. A lot of transfer questions, so thank you everybody. As I said, we will get into that next year. Have we all got tickets for Sunday? Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I won't be there though, sadly.
Part-timer.
Not part. I actually
Knew that was
I have commitments. I'm a wrestling commentator. So I'm a fuck off. Where do you see James Forrest BBL fitting in this season?
No, I seen that and I couldn't stop singing like BBL Jamesy. I think he's still going to have a part to play, but I think depending on the recruitment, he shouldn't have two massive a part this season.
Yeah, right. Well, quick fire because we've got about like 10 minutes left in the camera and we've got a quiz to go through. So very, 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 very quickly. Liam, your biggest fan, saying, hope you enjoyed your summer, Kieran.
Thank you.
Jack Daly, Toby Carvery, Chiquito's Thundercat, start, bench, sell. That's...
Start Thundercat.
Yep.
Oh, you're agreeing with Kieran that, right?
Chiquitos, I've only ever had a pint of Mahou in Livingston, so I can't comment on that. And then what was the other one?
Toby Carvery.
Oh, Toby Carvery's... It's alright. I'll bench that and I'll sell Chiquitos.
I did that a little bit, but sell Toby Carvery.
I'll
bench Chiquitos.
I'm controversially going to... No, I'm not. I'm going to bench Thundercat for now because I need more. I've only had one and the service was brilliant. They actually gave me some money off because they recognised me from the channel, so they're legends. But I'm going to bench them because I need to go for more, and it was years ago. I'm going to start Chiquitos and I'm going to sell the Toby Carvery because I've never had a Toby Carvery, so that's why. Who will be signed first? Adam Eder, the McGinlay replacement, says Jude. I don't know at this rate, to be quite honest. And then a lot of transfer, a lot of McGinlay tweets.
This was just hamming off fake accounts.
Well, here's a
you'll never replace McGinlay.
Here's a cracker from CM. Who's going to step up and be the Billy Bear eating monster now that McGinley's going? Also, would you take Shankland at Celtic? No, I wouldn't. No. We're all no's here. And last one for today is a Connor Goldson's son or a John Lundstrom daughter. You're crying up there. I think I'd have to go for the Goldson son, to be honest. I just can't have anything to do with John Lundstrom.
I hate these questions.
Right. Thank you for your questions. Sorry we are so rushed today, but we were essentially double booked today. We shouldn't be recording right now. So there was a lot happening there, which means it is time for the full-time quiz. It's a new season, but I can't remember if we were in the league table. Well, McGinley's gone, so we need to start a new league table, really. So it's a fresh start for everybody involved. Kieran the Quizmaster did make us a quiz, but I also made this one, and I went to all that effort to make one, and we're going to use it.
Kieran did not go.
No, Kieran's is good, and I'll come back to using it because I did like it. We might use it on the TikTok. I feel like that we could maybe implement it somewhere. But for today, I'm using my quiz. So thank you, Kieran. I love you lots, but we're using mine. Now, this is going to be awkward because I can't let you. Do you know what? I'll use my phone because I can hide my phone actually. Last year, I believe Kieran finished higher than Calum in the league table. So, Kieran, I will let you choose heads or tails.
Heads.
Siri, heads or tails? It's heads. So, Kieran, would you like set A or set B?
I'll go set B.
Okay. Right. Which means, Calum, you are up first.
I just hate these fucking stuff.
It's a new season. It's a new season. This will be a quick one, I promise. And then you can get your dinner. Take you to McDonald's if you want. Right. First section, first questions. It's called First and Last. So, Calum, who scored Celtic's first league goal last season? The first league goal.
Ross County we played.
Yes. The final result was 4-2 to Celtic on the day.
Oh, it was the most boring man football, innit? Thumble.
That's the correct answer. Well done. Which means, Kieran, I don't know if you've picked up what your question
I
might
know,
be.
I'm fucked.
Who scored Celtic's last league goal of last season? It was against St Mirren on Trophy Day. We won 3-2, and it was quite late on.
I know. I must have been pissed as a
You're going to be 1-0. Do you want to take a guess?
Fuck. Who the fuck was it? My God. Memory like a sieve.
We talked about this in the way here.
I know. I'll just say O'Reilly.
The correct answer was, do you have,
Your man with the samba hips. It's the shittest goal you've ever seen because it's hits half.
Luis Palma scored Celtic's winner on the day. So Calum is 1-0 up.
That's me. That's as far as it goes.
Round 2, and I think this might be the hardest question for you especially because, and that should be a comfort because the next 3 I think you might get. This I think might be your hardest. The round is called If You Know Your History. Calum, Celtic are going for 4 in a row this season. How many times in the club's history have Celtic won 4 in a row?
Jesus fuck. 5.
Oh, you're 1 off.
It's going to be
It's 4.
4. I thought.
Celtic have won 4 in a row on 4 occasions, including obviously the 2 9 in a rows. The other 2 were years ago.
Aye,
Back
well
in
before.
the
'Cause
1900s.
The 9 was obviously that gives you 2 straight away. And
Yep. Unlucky though. A good, educated guess. Kieran, you're If You Know Your History question to try and make it level. Celtic won 9 in a row with Jock Stein. But what year did they win the first of their 9?
65, 66.
Correct. Well done. 1965-66. It was their first league title in over a decade as Jock Stein brought glory back to Celtic Park. It means it's 1-1 after round 2. Round 3 is titled Appearances. Calum, who made the most league appearances for Celtic last season?
Joe Hart.
Incorrect. Joe Hart missed a couple of games. Well, I think he missed 1 league game for
Norris
definite
send it
under
off.
the suspension.
Aye.
But 1 player made 38 out of 38. Kieran, do you know who it is by chance?
Where's the scales?
No, and you might be surprised because off the top of your head you think of injuries and wee niggles here and there. The correct answer is Kyogo, who played all 38 league games for
Fuck's
Celtic
sake.
last season. It's a bit of a trick one, isn't it? It is.
Again, you just naturally assume goalkeepers.
Yep,
fucking
exactly.
irritate it.
Red card against Livingston, remember.
That's the only one that came to mind to miss.
Kieran, your question. 3 Celtic players made 1 league appearance for Celtic last year, including Sead Haksabanovic and Rocco Vata. But who is the third?
Oh, I feel like this was a question in one of them last year, like near the end of last season.
Might have been. I couldn't remember.
Mitchell Frame.
Incorrect. Mitchell Frame played one game, but it was in the Champions League against Feyenoord. The three players were Sead Haksabanovic, Rocco Vata, and Calum. Do you know? Karel Starfelt, who was still here for the first game
the first
of
game.
the season.
That's what I'm talking about. I hate when players fucking play one game and then.
So it's still 1-1 heading into round 4. The question is slip-ups. I feel like these two questions should be relatively easy, but it depends how last time you looked at the league table. Calum, how many games did Celtic lose in the league last season? In the league only, remember.
3.
Correct, it was 3.
I know 2 were back to back.
Yep, that's right. 2 of them came to the hands of Hearts.
There's 2-0
And the other was Kilmarnock. Kieran begs the question, talking about slip-ups, how many games did Celtic draw last season? I feel like you got the nice set.
That was definitely.
Nice set, aye.
I could remember what the points tally was. How many games did we draw?
Yes.
6.
Yes, correct, which means it's 2-2 heading into round 5. Brilliant. Nice. Round 5. The pressure is on, lads. The pressure is on. The topic is top goal scorers. And I need to know from you, Calum, who was Celtic's league top scorer in the 2021-22 campaign? So Ange Postecoglou's first season in charge, who scored Celtic's most league goals? It's tense now.
I feel like I should not, but
I feel like you should as well.
it's Ange's first season.
Ange's first season, who scored the most league goals for Celtic?
Yakimakis.
Correct.
Finished joint top. Aye.
Good clutch answer there, Calum. Well done. To take it to a tiebreaker question, then, Kieran, who was Celtic's league top scorer in the 2017-18 campaign?
17-18.
Mm-hmm.
You still had players there.
I had a feeling we I got this one quite quickly as well.
Was it just Dembele? No.
Congratulations to Callum Craig, who wins this week. Well done. What a start to the season for your camp. The correct answer is Scott Sinclair. He was back-to-back top league scorer in 2016-17.
He was still there, but I didn't know he was top goal scorer of the second season.
Finished top goal scorer in the league alone. Both years on the trot. So Calum has started the season off strong with a win.
Just goes downhill.
And I'm glad because I completely forgot to make a tiebreaker question. So it's done me a fucking favour. Well done. Good. I enjoyed it. I thought
first quiz.
Did you like my quiz? No, it was good.
It was good.
It was good, didn't it? Thank you. And that brings it to the end of today. I have a feeling this camera is genuinely about to run out of storage. I think we're on like 1 minute. So I'm going to wrap it up. Callum, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Kieran, thank you.
Pleasure being back.
And we're back for the whole season, boys and girls. So make sure to hit like and subscribe. Make sure to give us a 5 stars on Spotify. Stay with us as the season goes on. Hopefully it's a good one again for Celtic and us here at the Sellik the Thunder. Until next time, take care. And we'll see you, hopefully, next week. Ta-ra.